Hey, shouts out, my friends. Day number 27, and it looks like day number 27 because I look god awful. I didn't shave today. I'm just slightly depressed. You know, it's Easter. Today is Easter, the 27th day of my self-quarantine. It's Easter day here. For me and my family, it's Easter. Next week is Serbian Easter. And my mistake, I think I mentioned yesterday, it was Serbian Orthodox, or Serbian Easter tomorrow. Last year they were on the same day today. This year they're a week apart. So I woke up and I got up at 4:30. I ate, I drank a coffee, laid in bed, went back to sleep, got up at like 10, used my phone, didn't get out of bed really until like noon. I was checking all the pictures and stuff from my family and friends in the USA, all posting pictures of the food they're preparing tomorrow, all the Easter stuff. It's like, oh my God. And I'm stuck in this rat hole little apartment. What am I going to have? Guess what my Easter lunch consisted of? It's actually, the remnants is still here on this table. This was my Easter dinner. A bowl of muesli choco. That was my Easter lunch, you know. So, just not that great of a day. This is a blah day, you know. We're still in our mandatory curfew, our 60-hour curfew that started on Friday. It's over tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. So I cannot wait. You know, this tells you how pathetic of an existence I'm leading right now. Tomorrow morning, the thing I'm looking so forward to is a trip to the grocery store. That's the highlight of my week. I get to go to the grocery store. Oh my God, how pathetic am I, huh? Jeez. I'm going to put my music in. I'm going to take a walk to the bus station and back and then go to the grocery store and come back in here just to get my mind right. I do it early in the morning, so I'm not around people. There's typically nobody out. You see my videos. I'll make a video tomorrow and show you. But anyways, it's depressing when you're far away from, especially on holidays. You know, Easter in the USA, especially from the Midwest where my family's from, Easter was always a nice holiday. We very little, my family, it wasn't all that religious oriented, unfortunately. A lot of the holidays are commercialized and really lost their true meaning, you know. But what I remembered as a kid, I would go to bed late and listen all night long for the Easter Bunny. If I heard anything, I'd be like, oh my God, the Easter Bunny. Get up really early in the morning. Only time in the USA when I was a kid, I'd get up early when I was a little child. Easter and Christmas. Get up, go in there, find a big basket. There'd always be a video game or money, candy in this basket. Always so excited that the Easter Bunny remembered me. Then we'd go outside. Mom would hide things, Easter eggs, of course. And then at lunchtime, you come in, you have a big family dinner. We always had a big dinner on Easter. Like Midwest cuisine, like Midwest. I've lived mainly in the Midwest and Florida in the USA is the only place I've lived. Indiana, Illinois, and Florida, and then Mexico and Serbia, and Massachusetts now. But so I've lived East Coast and Central. But Midwest, mainly cuisine. People always say, what kind of cuisine? What do you eat in Midwest? How do you distinguish it? I always think of casserole. Do you know what a casserole is? My mom always made like this bacon, cheese, and potato casserole. She'd make tater tot casserole. She'd make beef taco casserole. All these different casseroles, like cornbread salads. What else? Noodles. Mashed potatoes and noodles and steak. We always had lots of steak and chicken because my parents always purchased a cow and they'd have it cut up and then we'd have like a freezer full of steak, sausage, everything from it, whatever. So we always ate really, really well. And then here in Serbia, I eat muesli choco for my freaking Easter dinner. Jesus. So that's how it was in the USA, and I miss that. I miss Easter dinner, you know, for my mothers. But at least they're safe. They're out on their ranch. They're not around any other people. Anyway, another funny thing, when you compare like USA and Serbia, Easter, Catholic Protestant. That's mainly America's made up mainly Catholics and Protestants, more Protestants than Catholics. Protestants would be like, my family is mainly Protestant. We're small family, but listen to this. You're not going to believe it. We're a small family, but in our family, we've got Methodist, Baptist, Lutheran, Apostolic, Jehovah's Witness, and Catholic, and atheist. We even had a Scientologist. I'm not going to mention him, but who that was, but that's what we had in our family. Such a massive diversity, different religions, you know? And in Serbia, that's so different. You know, here, almost every single person that says they're a Serbian, they're Orthodox or atheist. A lot of the time, during Tito's time, there was a lot of atheism. I think that's where they learned, they took that from, right? Because under socialism, they didn't believe in the practicing organized religion. Additional to continue on with the funniness about my family being like 7, 8 different religions. And here, I was down in Pirot, speaking at a school, and I used to travel all around Serbia. My first 2 years here, people would hear about me. They'd invite me to their school. I'd speak at their school. I enjoyed that, just talking to kids about American culture and what I like about Serbia, etc. It was a lot of fun. And I was down in Pirot, and I remember 2 questions I was asked. One of them to talk about how smart the Serbian kids are, the Pirotčanci kids. One kid raised his hand in Pirot. Teacher. And I said, yes, how can I help? He said, you used bad grammar. I said, excuse me, what did I say? He said, you said he don't. It should be he doesn't. I said, oh my God, brate, you're so smart. What a smart teacher you have here. And then most of the time the kids say, no, it's not my teacher, it's Cartoon Network. Second question I remember being asked, one student said, hey, teacher, what's your religion? And I said, well, that's kind of an inappropriate question in the USA. We don't usually ask that question, but I'm not really religious, but my family's Methodist, Baptist, Lutheran, Apostolic, Jehovah's Witness, and Catholic, typically. All the kids are, what? Stop. Or quo down there. They don't say stop, they say quo. And I said, what about you guys? How many of you are Orthodox? Every single hand raised. I said, there's no Catholics in here? One kid said, we don't have Catholics in Pirot. Kind of tells you the atmosphere here, you know? If there's Catholics in this country, they're typically of Hungarian descent, or Croat or Slovak or something, typically. Because if you're Orthodox, it's typically the Serbian. Anyway, love the Orthodox. But anyway, that's what's going on here. Before we get to the numbers, let's do something positive. I'm going to show you 3 different videos because I think they're fun, they're lighthearted, they're heartwarming here. And then we'll get into the nastiness here. Let's do that. You're going to watch 3 videos. One of them is a young girl from Kraljevo. She's a high school student that was in Minnesota on the Flex program. She was stranded there, and they finally organized to get all 44 exchange students out of the USA and back to Serbia. And this was her last day in the USA. You'll see the community, what they did for her. It made her cry. It's a sweet story. You'll see an American Marine here in Belgrade helps a little Serbian boy, get back to his mother in the United States. And then there's a really funny one about the Bosnian Prime Minister. So watch these real quick. It'll liven our mood, maybe, hopefully. Dace Bog. Okay, here's a really heartwarming, beautiful little video. This is a young lady right here. She's a Serbian girl from Kraljevo. She was taking part in the U.S. government's high school exchange program. It's called Flex, and it allows foreign high school students to go to the USA and study in the USA for a year. We have actually our first young lady ever is here in Serbia. She's actually in Gornji Milanovac. She's a high school girl. She messaged me. But anyway, this is really nice. 44 Flex students were stranded in the USA, and they were able to get the students out. And this was a goodbye from the community. This is in Minnesota. Aiken, Minnesota, I believe is how you say it. Aitken or something like that. But this is what the community did on her last day. I thought this is so nice. Isn't that nice? Okay, here's an actual positive. I thought this was a beautiful little story from the U.S. Embassy in Belgrade. Check this out. What a cute story. Okay, this is really funny. Not to pick on our neighbors across the border, but the Prime Minister of the Federacija of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Did you see this clip? Watch this. This is so funny. This is Fadil Novalic is his name. This is really embarrassing, but look. O, babato. Strašno. I'm back. Okay, wasn't that nice? I thought that was a really awesome little videos. Anyway, what's going on here in Serbia? The numbers are currently 3,630 afflicted. They tested 1,193 today with 250 positive readings. That sounds like okay, right? There's 146 folks here in Serbia on respirators, 80 deceased. Awesome deceased, God rest their souls. United States is up to 535,000, up 2,300 from yesterday, and over 20,000 dead. That's the most out of all the countries in the world. The United States leads in deaths. They surpassed Italy. Of course, we're way bigger than Italy, but still, it's very tragic and sad. So God rest all their souls. What else is going on in the news? Vucic, of course, your president, was in the news, of course, like he's always in the news. He said, we will celebrate Easter in our hearts and mostly confined to our homes. He had a question and answer thing on Pirot, because they're no longer allowing reporters in the... This seems kind of fishy. They're no longer allowing reporters in these briefings, due to coronavirus, I guess, right? He said, we need to start worrying about the economy. We need to start worrying about reducing the number of people on respirators. He said, I'm optimistic for the first time, though. So the president's optimistic. He said the hardest thing will be opening schools, but hopefully we can get started opening factories and catering facilities. There's going to be strict measures put on cafes and restaurants for at least a month after the curfew's over. Which that sucks for me, and I don't know what that means. So he's saying here also, he expects the curfew to be, or the state of emergency to be lifted at the end of this month or early May. And then he said, in the other statement, he said a month after it's lifted, they expect stricter measures on restaurants and cafes. So I don't know what that quite means. Maybe only a certain amount of folks allowed in there or what. So I'll probably not be allowed to go back into any cafes as long as I'm here, because as soon as this is lifted, I'm going back home to start work and to start making some money. Another funny thing he said in this question and answer, they had Perva's email. You could send in questions to ask Mr. Vucic. I wish I would have known. I would have said, hey, Mr. Vucic, where's my red passport? But somebody asked him, There's families stranded abroad, and they asked how he was going to help get them home. He said, "We will open borders when everybody else does." He also added, "We hope once they come back to this country, they get a job here rather than working abroad." Okay? Well, if the salaries and things were a little bit better, more people probably would. In Crna Gora, the head of the Serbian Orthodox Church was detained and brought to the police station in Crna Gora for violating the gatherings, too many gatherings at religious functions that was put in place by the Crna Gora government. The mayor of Belgrade, Zoran Radojičić. Those are weird, the Chić. Hate saying that. Like, he said, ask about next weekend, which is Orthodox Easter. He made a statement that sucks, in my opinion. He said, it makes sense that the curfew will last longer and start earlier next weekend. He said everything's going so well this weekend, they expect it to be extended next weekend because of Orthodox Easter. Nobody here really celebrates our Easter. So God, that means a longer curfew for next week. This is just absolutely miserable. Hope it's working. He said at the Belgrade Fair, they have 2,200 available beds. There's only 350 in there, which is promising. There's 106 people have been arrested or detained or cited for violation of curfew over this weekend here. 106 people. Kosovo. There's news in Kosovo. The headline read, Kosovo pressure on ethnic Serb news site draws concern. What had happened, there's a Serb news source or media outlet, if you will, in Kosovska Mitrovica. That's the biggest city there, Serbian-dominated city there in Kosovo Metohija. And they arrested this lady. She was a reporter for Koseva or something like that, this news source. She was arrested. She was immediately released upon being arrested. The reason that's odd, reporters are exempt from this curfew. They're out spreading awareness of what's going on, so they're not supposed to be hassled by the police. She was actually arrested, and this drew the ire or the concern of a European group who are ensuring freedom of press around the globe. So they actually did release her. What else? I also have quickly here, I'm going to read, I had a gentleman in Poland was kind enough to send me, he's a Serbian that is there and stuck in beautiful Poland. And I'm going to read his little message to me. And here's what he said about Poland. Hey, Charles, I'm a Serb born and raised in Novi Sad. I got married with my Polish wife here in Krakow 3 months ago. That's why I'm watching your isolation videos to see what's going on in my home city. I ran into some videos where you ordered Mesino Meso. It's killing me that I can't get anything like that here in Poland, is Vini Sasha. So, the coronavirus. First case we had was the first week of March on Friday the 13th. The Polish government made restrictions on all restaurants, bars, shopping malls. They were closed overnight. The minimum distance of 1 meter between two people was on. On the 14th, there was a huge panic. All the local shops were just depleted. There was no pasta, no tomato sauce, no yeast, no brashno. Everybody makes fun of me. Brashno. And no meat. So from Monday the 16th of March, my wife started working from home, but I was still going to work for 3 more days before I lost my job. The panic in the air disappeared with the good weather, and people started going to the lakes, to grill, to drink. So the following week, the government imposed a new restriction, minimum distance of 1.5 meters. You must wear gloves at all times, and there's a limit on how many people can go to the shops. 3 per 1 cash register. Also, there's a movement restriction. You can only go to work or shopping if you are doing neither. You can get a fine of 500 zloty. How do you say that? or 1,200 euros if you're caught out. That's a lot. People still didn't give two fucks, he said, about the restrictions. So now police started patrolling the streets. We have helicopters flying over our street every hour, and people are getting fines, and we have new restrictions. Now it's 2 meters. Maximum people on the streets, 2. Even if I go out of the house, I have to keep 2 meters from my wife. This is ridiculous. And now masks and gloves are a must. Now that ain't funny. It's funny because you can't find masks anywhere since day one. There are none. My mother-in-law sent us a post, by post, 2 masks she made, so we were all good. But the government in Poland is the same as Serbia, like Vucic. They're going around Poland without any masks or protection. They gathered in big groups to honor the plane crash victims. And yesterday was the drop that was too much and pissed off a lot of Poles. The cemeteries are closed, but the leader of the leading party, Law and Order, went to the grave of his mother when Poles are not allowed to, but the government does it. Yeah. So today we have Easter here in Poland. I'm doing all right, but I like to point out some problems Serbs have here in Poland. Now there are not so many Serbs in Poland. Most of us are married with Poles and have families here, but there are people who got stuck here in transit and are stuck for now over a month. The Serbian government is ignoring the Serbians here. The Polish air company LOT offered a free flight from Warsaw to Belgrade for Serbians wanting to leave, but Vucic refused the offer. So that plane went empty to Belgrade to pick up Poles stuck in Serbia. So there are people here now who are homeless, living in their car, abandoned by the wonderful Serbian government. I will try to make a video after Easter. Stay cool. Thank you. Unbelievable. They offered to send those people for free. That's sad. Not to criticize your government here. That's not what I'm for. That came from a Serbian in Poland who said it. Not I, Mr. Vucic. So please give me my Crvena pasoš. Lastly, it's a very tragic day here in Serbia. So I want to leave you with this short video about this terrible time in Serbian history. April 12th, 1999, a passenger train going from Niš to Preševo was bombed. A lot of people killed, injured, missing. Check it out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Doviđenja. Svako dobro. Srećan Uskrs. Okay, my friends, today is also a tragic day here in Serbian history. This is the 21st anniversary of the NATO missile attack on a passenger train and murder. They murdered 15 civilians. Some of them were kids. Over 50 some injured, some missing. And how it supposedly happened, the pilot claims that the passenger train was going too fast. He was on a mission to destroy this bridge. So he fired one missile and it accidentally hit the train. Upon seeing that it hit the train, he made a second pass because he thought he could still complete the mission of blowing up the bridge, fired a second missile that hit the train also. Unbelievable. General Wesley Clark, he said it was an unfortunate incident which him and his crew all very much regret, but we are doing everything in our power to avoid collateral damage. Many world powers, along with Yugoslavia, filed a complaint, a war crimes complaint against NATO for this murder of 15 passengers. It says in the complaint to Amnesty International, they said NATO appears to have violated Article 57 of Protocol 1, which requires an attack to be canceled or suspended if it becomes clear that the objective is not a military one, or that the attack may be expected to cause incidental loss of civilian life, which would be excessive in relation to the concrete and direct military advantage anticipated. And then NATO released the video of the missile attack. And come to find out, they sped it up almost 5 times real life speed. So it was a doctored video that they released. But anyway, once this complaint was sent to the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, the ICTY, of course they said, in our opinion, it is the opinion of the committee that the bridge was a legitimate military target. The passenger train was not deliberately targeted. Of course, that's what they said. Unbelievable, the unfairness of that tribunal. It's an absolute circus. It's a joke. Anyway, all of our thoughts and good wishes are with the families and all of those affected by this disgusting war crime.